Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Technology Show, where our experts translate geek into regular speak. How do you feel about mixed reality versus virtual reality? And what are your thoughts? Gadgets or games? And where exactly are you on the battlefield of Windows versus Apple? Stay tuned for our special geek guests. And now, it's over to our Techsperts.
It's time for the Techknowledgy Show, where we translate geek into...
Not Greek, but
Not
regular
Greek.
speak.
Every week. There we go. I'm Brett Levy, and I have Angela, our chief eagle, with me again, and we are trying the periscope on the Alcatel 5V. Can you see yourself, Angela?
I can see myself, but as usual, you didn't give me fair notices to the show and the content and the structure.
That's the whole idea.
And I
Otherwise
would
it's
have
too
fixed
bland.
my hair better.
Oh, but
Not in beta, better.
But it looks nice with the
And
the Alice band effect.
I'm going to request from the owner I should get some pink headphones or orange or
well,
something
maybe
like
we
that.
can get you some beige ones soon.
Beige. I'm still waiting.
I've got good news. We'll talk about that. In
Okay.
fact, let's do a little sneak peek now before we bring our guest into the show.
Special guest, yeah.
I have the first pair of Jabra 85Hs in the country. I believe the managing director of Jabra doesn't have a set yet.
Is he still waiting? We could hire them to him.
Well, I'm going
He
to
can
be...
borrow.
I see...
Borrow them.
I'm going to predict a review coming very, very soon. So we're changing the format up.
Okay.
We have a guest again, which is great. And
You
unfortunately...
found someone else that wants to come on the
actually
show?
wants to talk to us. Can you believe it? I don't know why. And he actually knows me, so he should know better. But he's under huge pressures, and when you hear what he does, you can see why he's a busy man. So we're going to do Guest of the Week first.
Let's do that.
Cool. Kami Ben David, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's lovely to have you. Thank you for coming.
And I believe one of these is in order. It's another radio virginity, I believe, I got. First
Yes,
time, huh?
Yes.
Okay, good. Remember?
He looks terribly excited.
He does. In fact, we'll have to switch the cam around. I'll figure all that out eventually, how to get this cam to move around
We
left
need
and
to
right
put it on
and
a swivel, a mounted
a
swivel.
a lazy Susie. That would be
Susan.
such a cool thing.
Okay.
Like we could get on a... Anyway,
a
we'll
camera,
work on that.
a Susan camera. Yes, but our special guest.
We're speaking to our guest. Kami, co-founder and co-CEO of Upwise, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now...
And in case anyone doesn't understand the South African accent,
we've got
it's-
Israeli
it's
accents now as well.
Wise.
Yeah, you'll miss the South African accent, won't you?
We thought you were Brazilian when you first came in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if that's...
There we go. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing,
yeah,
right?
probably it's a compliment. Thank you.
So, disclosure, I actually work in the same offices with Kami. That's where we met. I've been intrigued, if you know my background, with data and tracking data and looking at data the whole time.
Does that mean spying? Intrigued, see
Well,
spying?
could be. I can't tell you, otherwise you know what happens. If we tell you, we've got
You have to kill me,
There
right,
we go,
okay.
right? And I kind of like you, so I'm not going to do that.
Might be a good option at some week. Okay, so Upwise is...
Upwise.
Upwise.
Kami, we always tell or ask our guests to introduce what they do because we hope you know what you do. So please tell us what Upwise is.
Besides running away from Brett at the office, what else do you do?
So we built an enterprise solution to help corporates make data-driven decisions. Hello?
I'm playing with the camera.
Which is what every corporate wants to do.
Exactly.
Make decisions based on information, solid information.
Exactly. So what we technically do is we aggregate a lot of data from many different sources, and we extract the insights out of the data in real time and provide our clients with
An interpretation of it?
with a platform that they can consume the data easily, and it's all, as I said, real time, interactive. So it's quite a unique solution.
Can you give our listeners an example of the timeline or the actual structure of that line? So what sources do you gather that from?
So
What?
anything from
Is it all social, all online? Is it there?
So it's mostly public data.
Right.
We also have some APIs that we use.
I got to stop you there for a second. What is an API, Angela?
I don't have to know.
Of course you do. You won the show last week.
I can't remember.
So we've got a segment called It's All Geek to Me, and last week's letter was API. Tell us what an API is.
Well, it's plugging in a source of data
There we go. The
that
plugin?
feeds into a database.
Because that really enlightens me
live.
now. However, I do understand the theory behind an API.
Awesome.
But when you refer to public data,
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean the company's data. That just means data that's already out there, or only
Yes.
their data that's out there publicly.
Only public data. So it can be patents, news.
So it doesn't have
social
to
media.
be their own data.
No,
You're just going out there and grabbing anything that's relevant to them.
exactly.
Right, which is really important, why we need open source data. That's
Yes.
another reason why we need that.
Yes.
See?
Well, that's really good. And I think the most important thing, though, is you mentioned real time. Now, I was actually reading an article I'm going to talk about a bit later. So I try when I actually do some preparation for our show. Believe it or not.
No, I do believe that. And my issue with real time is the definition of real time as it pertains
And that's what I want to do.
to a company, right?
And that's
Yes.
what I want to lead into what he does. So
And because companies are so clunky and slow, the bigger the company and how slow they are, I question how reactive they are to real-time data. But
So I'm going to jump ahead with a stat.
Yes.
So in things, I was going to talk about the fact that almost 70% of Australian retailers aren't doing real-time
no,
data.
I that's why I said I
that's-
would be very surprised.
Yeah.
So
Can you give us some examples of how Upwise actually delivers the data? So
Yep.
you mentioned the dashboard, right?
Yeah.
So that dashboards are dashboards, and
Right.
obviously the UI and the UX comes into play there. But
I know
specifically,
what UR and UX is.
I know
Okay,
you do,
that's-
and that's why I didn't ask. But what is it that are you specializing in any segments? Are there any certain sectors or industries that you're working in?
Oh, yes.
So we mostly focusing at the moment on the financial services, insurance, retail.
Who love data.
Yes, yes, and the market is constantly changing, so it's very important to get the data live.
And appreciate real-time data.
Yes.
So you've also gone with an industry that appreciates and will use real-time data.
Exactly, but we can work in any sector, any industry, so there's no limitation from our.
He seems quite quietly confident in that answer.
Well, I've actually seen some of the data, and I've seen the data sources, and it's really slick.
So does everything start with the premise of a question from your client?
So they send us their requirements. Right. It's actually a very seamless process from their end, and then we fetch all this data that most of it we have already, but sometimes we need to adjust it and customize it based on the requirements, and then we deliver it through that real-time dashboard, which is quite unique.
So the dashboard is for them to see the analyzed data.
Yes,
and
exactly.
grab what they want from it.
Exactly.
That's how that.
So I'll explain it maybe.
Yeah.
You have the old-fashioned 200-page static reports,
Yep.
delivered through PDFs. We basically create that through like a platform that is all, if you look at it at any given moment, you're looking at the data that is current and not static. And, that's...
So I wanted to ask you, and this is the biggest problem with data. Everyone's talking about collecting data, big data, thick data, data lakes, data pools, data servers, D for data. No. So
That would work.
when you say that you get it from sources that are out there, which sources are you looking at? Are you looking at like social? Or what are you looking for?
We take millions of articles, social media, patents, companies, publications, financial data, job listings, paid APIs that we have, some sources that we
Yep.
that we have.
So
We plug. Yeah,
you're eating.
exactly.
It's eating all that information that's out there. It's sucking it up.
Exactly. So, but the thing is that getting the access to the data, I mean, that's the easy part. Extracting the insights out of the data, that's the hard part.
Well, that's where the I'm assuming the back end, the logarithms
Yes,
that have built
yes.
that analytical coding
exactly.
is where you've got to know what you're looking for. And I'm assuming your clients are on retainers or a subscription of some kind.
So we have two models. It's either subscription or a paid off
per question, like per
view,
project,
per
yep.
dashboard. Yeah.
Because with your retainers, you know what kind of clients you've got, so you pretty much know what kind of information you might need, so you can predetermine those questions. But for a one-off, it could be a brand new client from a new industry.
Yes.
I assume you're going to face a much more significant task and have to react quicker
Yes.
for this real-time data
Yes.
without having that much of that infrastructure already existing in grabbing that information. Wow, I would love that challenge.
So I think
That's
that
cool.
what we probably should have started the thing off is what made you develop Upwise? Because it's developed locally, right? I mean, you've built it here since you've been in Australia.
Yeah.
I know your co-founder as well. We have
Yes.
to say hello. But take us through the journey of, what was it that said, oh, hold on a second, there's a need to actually build Upwise?
So actually, Einat, my co-founder, which couldn't make it today, she came up with the initial
She's the better
idea.
looking one, Angela.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
Well, that all depends which way you like your data
I have to say
consumed.
So she came up with the initial idea, which we actually started with a technology discovery platform. And through that journey, working with clients and interviewing a lot of potential clients, we saw that the real value is actually in the market intelligence. And that's how in the journey we evolved to that, to where we are today. And we work with some of the largest insurance companies, banks, the consultancy firms. So we've seen proof that there is a need for it.
That's right.
You carry on.
Don't
We're
worry.
just doing
Don't
some
worry.
microphone
Don't
adjustments.
Don't worry about
here.
this random guy that just reached out to grab the microphone from you.
Thank
no,
God
it's
you only
good.
grabbed the microphone, right?
Hey,
So that's how the journey.
so it was born of what you saw happening and the requests that were coming through.
Yeah, so the initial idea came, as I said, from not from her experience working at Vodafone, and the need for understanding in real time what's happening and which technologies are out there. And then, yes, we evolved through that journey.
Because you mentioned for insurance companies, etc. And I would assume in the olden days, probably before you were born, it was more like actuarial firms that were gathering this kind of data, which would have been quite static and maybe released once a year or twice a year. Now there's a need for a business like yours, whether it's however it comes about, whether it's started from a tech background, but ideally you are now replacing those very stodgy, old-fashioned information firms
and in real time as well.
Yes.
that would have
which is the whole thing.
crunched numbers that insurance companies would build their profit results on. Oh, look, this happens. It's going to cost us this. This is what we were left with.
Yeah.
Now it's real time.
Yeah, but it's important to say that it's more from the angle of actually the technology perspective and what's happening out there in terms of, for instance, in the insurance space, like which insurtech players are coming, what's the emerging technology. So how is blockchain affecting the insurance space? How is AI playing in certain markets?
It's interesting
think
for
if I could-
blockchain in affecting the insurance space.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question.
It is quite a good
Yeah.
one. If I had to make a summation, I would use Upwise because I wanted to know what was going on in a certain sector or industry at that moment in time, and then obviously from the consumption of what you put forward, I could predict of what could be coming as well. And
But
maybe where
his
to move.
slant is technology as opposed to necessarily being about the profit base. So they're forward planning. They're saying if we were to go this way with our company, who are our competitors, or how would the
Exactly.
market assess it?
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
See, I got the business
No,
brain.
There we go.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So
Fascinating though. That's very
what I said
cool.
to you, and you've actually see the dashboard.
Like you don't have
maybe
to have.
try to get a couple of screenshots
You don't have to have
from it.
smart people in your company.
No, you have to have smart.
You just
Upwise
go and
technology.
find Upwise.
Yeah, well, the thing is that you could have 10 analysts looking at the data that is out there, and because there's an overload of data, it's very hard to capture what's happening and extract the insights.
It's the overload of data. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
There's too much information out there,
Exactly.
and it is easily available.
Correct.
But who's got 100 years to sit there and try and find
Exactly.
it and have it in real time reporting?
Yes.
So any company does not need to specialize in that. There is
Yes.
no need for them to have that specialty
Correct.
in-house.
Yeah, I mean, we do want to enhance the analysts so they can use our platform and work with it to make their lives easier.
But not compete with your platform internally.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Hopefully.
That's
yeah.
unfortunately the thing with good tech, right? As soon as you make good tech, then you actually sit there worrying about who's coming to eat your lunch.
Well,
That's-
you have to worry now as a business owner. How are you going to stay lightning years ahead of your own competitors?
Yes.
That's another side of his problem.
True.
That will age you fast.
Yes. You can
Worrying,
see,
worrying about that problem
It's
will
going
age you.
there already.
Yeah, I have a few.
So, you won't believe me, but we're
What do you
already like
We're
at the
finished
end
with
of our
him.
segment.
We've
No,
got-
it just goes. This is the problem of our show. I think we should do like a 1 day show. No.
Like all day.
Yeah, with you and me together
That-
all day.
that's-
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, no.
No,
For
okay,
you,
fine.
I agree. It would be an amazing experience for you.
Oh, look at that.
We thank
Business
you.
brains and
looks.
and humility. That's what I was going to say
Hey.
as well.
We loved having you on, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kwame,
for
where do
inviting
we
me.
find you?
Uh,
What website?
Yeah, upwise.io
IO. I love that
Yes.
URL. All these new tech.
or .com.au or .co.
Okay,
all
you got
to
a
the
few.
same place. Yeah?
Okay. Have you got
Just go
LinkedIn,
Upwise.
Twitter?
Yeah, we have LinkedIn, we have Twitter, we have Facebook.
Okay, you got all the usual things, but we can get there from the website.
Yes.
All right, well,
Yes.
We like that. Be
awesome.
up
Well,
and
thank
be
you.
wise.
Upwise,
Yeah.
Upwise,
Cool.
done. Dio. Cool. That was interesting that we try and, well, we like to change things up here. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it
do.
does
And-
keep it fresh,
And we
right?
have to work with what we've got.
True.
So,
And
their
time.
schedules aren't always...
And he has to be wise and up, or
Well,
up
that was
and
fascinating.
wise.
I loved the fact that they're approaching this from a real-time perspective of information for analysts for companies. And at the moment, they're dealing with, obviously the financial world and how the tech aspect of the financial world fits together. But
Well,
the fact that there's data overload, that, it's also fascinating.
the biggest problem with I can hear I think my phone's going. The biggest problem with tech and or tech in his space is that when you do start building these things, all the Me Too's come along.
Yep.
And then it's a case of, as a company, as the user of the technology, where do you go with? There's that old saying, no one got fired for putting in IBM. That's not the case anymore, because now you got IBM, Oracle, Azure, you know what I mean? So
it's going to be a tough choice, and I imagine in that tech space, every single day, it means it won't be just about the technology of a company.
correct.
It will be about old-fashioned business principles and values as well. So
100%.
it's nice to know that there'll be a place for the dinosaurs.
Well, you need the
tech world.
dinosaurs to be able to read it.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You do. You
But
kinda
I'll
do.
actually get some screenshots and I'll show you. The dashboards are really cool.
Yeah. Well, they would need to be with them.
Well, they would. So, app of the week.
What is the app of the
It's
week?
called Libby. Libby.
So like a girl's name, Libby.
I didn't think of it like that.
Well, it
It's-
is.
well-
It's a girl's name.
Okay. I actually don't know any girls called Libby.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Libby.
Yeah.
Hi, Libby. I'm going to have to go to Facebook and look for
There's
Libby.
lots of Libbies, yeah.
So the reason it's called Libby is that it's actually a library app to share audio and ebooks. How cool is that? And Australia is part of their network, because I've got a Woollahra library card, and Woollahra is one of the libraries. So the whole idea behind this is you don't have to buy ebooks
Yep.
or audiobooks.
Right.
So
You
let's
can
take a
borrow
step
them.
back. Yeah, let's
Yep.
take a step back for all the kids in Gen Z and Gen Y that don't know what libraries are actually for, that you actually go there to get books and take them and read them.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Like the real book, not
Well,
this ebook.
we had to learn to go to the library, right?
Remember
At
the
school,
Dewey Decimal System?
That's
You had to
correct. You had
look
to
up
learn.
the correct.
You had to be taught how to use a library.
Correct. So now everyone's saying, well, do we still need libraries if we have audiobooks and ebooks?
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't it be cool if you could rent an audiobook or an ebook?
Well, can just to cover off on that first question,
Yes.
we do still need libraries,
Oh,
because
no, I agree.
libraries are in communities and they offer so much more than
And
just...
to just be able to go and
books.
sit there and have some quiet
Correct.
and think and work.
So libraries are always part of local communities. So
100%.
yes, we will need libraries, and government is still planning and budgeting and
Good.
building libraries.
Good for government.
So I'm just saying, yeah.
So to the question of
You can-
renting,
so you can borrow.
you can borrow now an
Via-
ebook or an audiobook.
Via Libby.
And it was so funny that when I downloaded it and opened that, so I went to non-fiction. I'm not really interested in fiction. I don't
You
have
don't
the time.
borrow. You don't care about Mills and Boons and
Yeah.
romance and okay.
What's the other one?
Well, you could- you could
50
borrow-
Shades of Grey.
blue, pink, or yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could be borrowing all the Harry Potter stuff.
I never did Harry Potter. You know that. I did Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But I fall asleep in the same place of Harry Potter every
We
time.
can't say Game of Thrones and not get into it, so we're not getting into it.
Okay, we're not
'Cause
getting into it. No spoiler alerts.
It's really emotionally charged at the moment.
Okay, did you watch?
Of course, 10
Amazing.
times in one
Okay.
day.
So, the first book that appears when I
Went
when
in
I
for your
open my app under
non-fiction.
non-fiction, it was the subtle art of not giving up. The first book that appears. So not only can you get good books, you can get current books.
Yep.
And I must say, I've actually read that book.
So you
It's
have to
fantastic.
have a library membership with
Correct.
a library that subscribes to Libby.
Correct. And I think you can only take 1 or 3 at a time. It's also limiting, so you can't just sit there and...
So does it expire? Is that how you don't return
I don't
them?
know yet.
Oh, right, because
I've only just started with the app.
you
That's
go
actually a
in,
very, very good question.
and is there a time frame on how long you borrow the book?
Yes, there is. Sorry. So there will be. It's the same as library, and I think you can. Well, I assume you can renew if you haven't finished it.
Right.
But
But there's no additional cost?
no.
So obviously...
You don't pay when you go to a library,
No, but somehow they've got to make money, right?
but they make it from government, don't they?
Well, I don't know. I'm
Well,
asking
no,
you.
I
This
don't
is
know
the app
either.
of the week you
Oh, you
brought
mean
up.
Libby themselves?
Libby, yeah.
I think this is a data play, and I think you can actually buy stuff from them as well.
Right.
So you could buy a copy of that book if you wanted to. You know, it's the same as Danny with Snapsy and Solve last week. It
Yes.
wasn't about how he monetizes from the app point of view that you and I see.
Yes.
The service was being provided. You might find that he gets a percentage of a sale every time the book is rented. Maybe the library pays him or Amazon pays him because there's a chance that you'd share it or,
Yeah.
you know. I think that's their model actually, is that they share the book. So I like the book, I share it to you, you got to buy it because you don't have a library card.
Oh.
Or
so then I
you
to
have
go
a
get
library
one.
card,
Right.
then you can subscribe.
Well, I'm just going to, I've just made a note there to find out whether the City of Sydney.
Well, as I said, Willara definitely had it.
Yes.
So, and because that's where I'm a library
Yep.
member. I
Because
think
because I have a library card.
But no, I was about to say the reason I chose this app as well is exactly what you've just said. It's so important to still have libraries. I took Cade to the Willara one the other night to do 3D printing. They've got a 3D printer there.
Yeah.
And they showed you for free how to design. They gave us the software tools.
Yeah.
We actually printed something that night. It was a great experience.
We have just spent $50 million at a brand new library in Green Square, the City of Sydney.
That must be,
and it's
actually,
won
that
an
must
award
be-
for the
I was going to say
design.
that must be beautiful
Yeah,
because that whole area is nice.
Yeah, it's
I'll
very,
have to go
very
and have
cool.
a look at that one. That's my only problem with libraries is that you can't. I know why you can't take out a book in Green Square because you live in Killarney, but
But
you should be able to go and
within
sit
the
in
city,
a library.
within the City of Sydney, though, you can. You
Well,
don't have to show your library
that's right.
card when
can go
you
and
walk
take
in.
it.
Yeah,
You can't take the book out. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, well that's all good.
Nobody asks you so far for ID or fingerprint.
And there's
or face
Wi-Fi in there as
recognition.
well. You can actually go and
Correct.
sit there and connect. It's
And
not,
good Wi-Fi.
No, mine was terrible.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
It's double pay, but not on the Wi-Fi.
and you get to use terminals and access. You can do they're internet.
Oh,
They're
the
like
terminal.
an internet cafe.
There is terminals. I
Yeah.
had my own machine, so I just went upstairs, found a little quiet
Nook.
spot. Yeah, but I do
but
recommend.
no beverages served as yet.
No,
Yeah, that's missing.
no, but I think that's a good thing.
No.
You don't want to spill in the book.
Yeah, I know, but still.
You know what would be cool if
You
they
could
had
bring your
like
own,
that
though.
section, like with the leather couches, maybe a waiter, and you can get some wine or
You should be
Yeah.
able to, on your app, order.
order from
Click
the app.
and order.
Libby.
Ordering, yeah.
Well, in fact, maybe there's a model for them. They could see what's in the area when you finished reading.
Uber Eats.
Go and get a delivery. So there we go. So app of the
That's
week,
it.
Libby.
App of the
It's
week.
simple. It's got a lovely little UI. In fact, let me see if I can quickly bring
What do
it
you
up.
mean it's got a lovely little what?
UI. It looks really good. Like the book looks like you can actually pivot it. I'll show you if it opens up. So there, for example, you can play a sample.
Yeah.
It tells you it's an audio book. If you go like that, it brings it up.
Yeah.
As you can see, there we go. Well, no, you
it's not
can't really see on that screen.
Reflection.
Um,
And then?
you can go back to your shelf, so you can carry on looking. You can tag
so
it. You can hold the book. You can loan the book. So
It's
got
quite
everything.
simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. You can play a sample, and there's the book changes around if you want. So it's got a nice little UI to it.
And I love the idea of it being an audio.
Audio and ebooks.
Yeah.
But
because
I use audiobooks. I don't have time to read
Yeah.
anymore. So when I'm sitting on a train or I'm sitting doing something else, I've got an audiobook
Yeah.
going. It's fantastic.
if you can concentrate that way.
I can do it
Yeah.
that way, so I'm okay.
Mm,
It's a male thing.
no.
I was waiting.
But how much do you actually absorb?
No, actually taking quite a bit. And I generally do work with either two screens and music going as well. So
yeah.
I'm
but
quite
music
used to
you
a
can
multi...
tune out, right? You just relax
Yeah.
and you listen to it. You don't necessarily have to focus on it. But I'm
I do
assuming
agree
if you're
that
listening
if
to a
I'm
book-
I can't read, like if someone sends me a contract to read, I can't do that while I'm listening to an ebook. But just to quickly scroll through, well, you know how you have to check your social pages and that, while I'm doing that and I'm just flicking through, audiobook's perfect. Or just going through the emails and deleting the junk.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
and if I
yeah.
have to, I just push pause and
I did delete 50,000 in my delete
sometimes you
box.
just actually go select or delete. It's just,
Yeah,
it
that
just feels good.
It upsets it.
I know, but it feels good though.
Yeah.
So,
I would listen to an audiobook doing that. Yep.
Okay,
There we
good.
go. Found something to do.
so there we go. Libby.
Right. Libby.
Yep.
Libby it is.
Done. We are now going on to It's All Geek to Me. So last week, alphabetically, I don't back down from a challenge. So that makes this week's word starting with a B
Yep.
for Brett. Now that should be good enough, actually.
Oh.
I mean,
what?
don't you think?
Done.
I'm just a walking
We're
tech.
just done.
We're done. Okay, cool. I was actually going to do Boolean, but I thought that might just be a little bit too techy. But have you heard of the terminology? So this week, it's not Boolean, But I just want to show you I had more than one. Do you see what I did there? Like I slipped it in.
First of all,
And
I
I think you
can't
told me I'm not
verify
allowed
that
to-
is even a term.
Oh, no,
but
no,
anyway.
Boolean. Okay, so Boolean quickly is
B-O-O-L-E-A,
B-O-O-L-E-A, and it's named after someone. I think his surname was Boole or Boolean, Boulier. It's the binary side. So if this one, if that, if not, zero. And it's how you write Boolean script to search online. And that's why I was going to go into it, but I just thought that's more for techies. So we'll leave Boolean, although we've done Boolean. But here's one that's actually important for your business. And it's a word that you've probably heard bantered around. And the word for this week for It's All Geek to me is backlink.
Yes. Okay. What? That's what for us beginners? Backlink?
No. Backlink is a
Yeah.
critical.
Yeah, I would have.
So what is a backlink?
But it's been around forever.
But what does it do? And what's the importance of the backlink?
Well, you tell us.
Okay. So the backlink, and I also wanted to bring this in from we were chatting about the API last week and a hyperlink. So a backlink is a link that brings you back into a website. So why it's important is two reasons. One, it's critical for SEO. For good SEO, you should have backlinks. So if you're writing an article on something and you click and you read and you go to wherever that article is, you need to be able to come back. So the backlink needs to be in place. So that's the one use for a backlink. The second use for a backlink...
Besides pressing the back button.
No, but you're now in another...
Website.
It opens up a tab.
Right.
So you need the link in that tab to bring you back. Because if you
Right.
close it,
Yes.
your tab might be open, but some browsers are set, or some people set their browsers to continue.
Right.
So it just goes on. The other thing with the backlink, though, is that it also allows you to bring content in similar to an API, but it's more about you have the link inside your site, and then that takes you off on another journey, as opposed to the API that's bringing the information into your page. So with Kami, he uses APIs to deliver content into your site. The backlink allows you to bring that website to you. It's not as sophisticated as an API. Why I say it's critical, though, is that for SEO, the thing that people get wrong is they have broken backlinks. Now, if you imagine breaking your back,
Yep.
a broken backlink is as bad for your marketing. So you click on something, you get that 404 error,
Yeah.
or you get the page not found.
Yep.
Google sees that, and you get negative ranks straight away. They just push you right down. So when you're doing promotions, when you're setting up, let's say, for example, with Alcatel.
Yep.
So on all of our posts, we post links to go and win an Alcatel phone, or if the Alcatel logo is hyperlink, it will take you to their website. Let's say we stop doing that. Please don't stop doing that, Alcatel, on the wave. But if we stop doing that, we have to remove that backlink because the campaign's finished.
Right.
If you click on that and you haven't removed the backlink, your site gets negative ranked.
Right.
It becomes what they call a toxic link. So I thought it would be nice for the people that are now doing their own marketing, that listen to the show, or maybe writing some blogs. Even ourselves, it's critical that you do a backlink cleanup every now and then. You got to go through and check all the links. You actually sit there and click your website. So what I always say to a lot of clients is you should refresh your website every quarter. Go through it, rebuild the pages, rebuild the tabs, rebuild the navigation, because that also helps you clear the backlinks that are there.
Oh, if you rebuild the navigation.
Yeah, because you're creating a new nav. So when you refresh that site and reload it,
Yeah.
you're putting up a new website effectively, which is also very good for SEO.
Right. Okay.
Search engine optimization.
Because if you've been adding naturally to the site,
Correct.
But haven't really done anything about it.
Correct. It goes stale.
Yeah.
And it breaks.
Yeah.
Or, in fact, I've got this on my own personal bio site. I noticed the other day that there's links to 2 articles that I wrote. SA Men no longer exists. So if you click on them, they're broken.
Right.
So I have negative backlinks on my site.
Not
On my
good.
own site.
Yeah.
That's why I also chose the word backlink, because I was doing an audit on my own
You
site.
came across it, yeah. Okay.
So there we go. So, but that's 2 for 2. I now have to push over to
Things.
ARS. I need an ARS. Have you already forgotten the ARS? The Angela rating system
Oh, of backlink.
of backlink. So,
You just made up the ARS.
well,
Okay.
it's the Angela rating. You told me last week you have a star rating system,
Yes.
and you're Angela, so it's the Angela rating system.
That's
ARS.
right. Yes. No, I'm going to give this, and we're doing it out of 5.
Yes, it's out
Right.
of 5.
I'm going to give this a 4
Sure, so better than API.
because it's so relevant to
you
us
see,
civilians.
relevance.
Yes.
Good. I got a 4, so I'm
Yeah.
progressing.
It's very relevant. Backlinks,
And
because
Boolean
those
would have got me like a 0.
that would have got a minus.
You can't
So
go
you
minus.
lose stars.
What do I win when I get like, I don't know, 100
You
stars?
Keep your life
Okay, that's good enough.
and breathing. You still breathe.
Okay, so I think this is going to be our last segment because we've done our guest first, we didn't do our guest last, and we've done All Geek to Me, and we've done the app. So it's things with a Z.
Yeah, you're confusing everyone.
I know.
This
but
is
it's
the
okay,
things
but it's nice.
segment.
Things said. Shame, I'm sorry, Cam, because now your sound effects and edits and that going to change a little bit as well. But
I think he's right.
yeah.
He had this like big mother of a sandwich for lunch.
Oh, he's just going to.
Circumference of 30
We're going to have to
centimeters.
turn the camera. We have to turn the camera on so we don't see him lying on the couch. He actually does sit at.
He wanted a nap.
Let's just
He
put
said he
Cam.
wanted a nap.
Here's Cam. Hey Cam, wave to the Alcatel 5e.
Wow, he doesn't
Oh,
look
didn't
very
even wave.
impressed.
I now
He's
realise
got-
why he
he's
wears
got-
his sunglasses normally.
He's got carb overload.
Is
got
that
overload.
carb,
Yeah,
carb
he-
overload?
Was-
Yeah, got the
I'm
big
telling
stretch and a
you,
yawn.
It was a piece of the bread circumference was 30 centimeters on this sandwich.
So,
Yeah.
that's a lot of carbs.
It was a pie.
That's
it was
not
the
a
size
sandwich.
Of a pie.
That is the whole Subway. Was it a Subway?
No, it wasn't a Subway.
No. Okay.
Yuck. We don't
Cool.
eat those, do we? Icky.
So I'm going to start in
Things.
things
Yeah.
where I kind of mentioned when we were speaking to Kami about the research that was done
Yep.
with nearly 3/4 of retailers risking stock shortages. Stock
Risking
shortages.
Stock shortages because
they don't have real-time data.
or they don't access real-time data. Let's say that.
They don't have the ability, let
course
alone
not.
access. So they don't have software like Upwise or there's lots of different tools, right?
Of even analyzing their own data?
This is what this whole thing was.
It's-
So there was
so
a
they're talking
company
about their own
called
data.
Yeah, they don't have access to it. There's a company called Pronto Software that did this survey.
Mm-hmm.
I think disclosure, and they actually put in the article. Good on them. It's in their interest to do the survey because obviously Pronto Software sells this type of software, right? They surveyed 172 retailers. Okay, that are all part of the ARA, the Australian
Retailers
Retailers
Association.
Association. Yeah, and 71% of them had not embraced integrated front end and back end systems. So in normal speak, anytime you go dip at the till that comes off your stock, the person that's responsible for ordering more stock doesn't know that Coke is just sold and that he now only has 10 left. Now, we might be sitting here, or listeners might sit there and go, well, why is that important? Well, if you go to the shop, right, to get Coke, and they don't have Coke, okay, that's a terrible example. They've always got Coke. You go to the shop to get Chobani yogurt, because that's the brand you love, right? And they don't have it. And that was, let's say, Woolworths. You're going to go to Coles, because maybe they have it. And while you're at Coles, you're not going to just get your Chobani yogurt.
That's right.
You're going to buy everything else. So the shopping basket that Woolworths loses, and I know both these people do have the data, but it's just an example. But not only do you lose that basket of sales, you lose the next shopping visit as well. Because
So
now you go, well, I'm not going to go to Woolworths.
I'm querying this survey.
Sure.
I'm querying this survey from the types of businesses that they surveyed from the ARA, because these may not necessarily be
Probably
chain
not groceries,
stores.
correct. No, these would
Well,
be retailers.
No, but I don't mean groceries, but I'm saying they may not be the kind of stores that are chain stores. So
Probably
if they're
not.
standalone
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
then they with their eye do the surveying of their stock take.
Okay, yes and no. You know, as a business owner, and you've been involved in these type of business before, you're not always there. You might be away. You've got really good staff that you trust. That how funny was that, right? That was funny,
an
right?
oxymoron statement.
Okay,
yes.
but in a perfect world, you've got really good staff that you trust. They've been doing a good job. Their stock taking is good, etc., etc. So you're not there, but those staff are doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is on the floor servicing customers. This is what alert software does. If you put in a critical mass at 25%, send an alert or make the order happen.
So
or whatever.
I'm not
It's
saying
simple.
the need isn't there.
Oh yeah.
The
It's
need
probably
is there,
independent
but
retailers.
Yeah, but it's probably what they did was they surveyed one group of retailers who probably have no use for their software.
The reason I also brought this up, this is what's also helping drive sales online. Because online you don't go to the store.
No.
You go to the product.
Yes.
And then whoever's in stock at the right price delivers it to you. So the brick and mortar loses out because you don't have stock. But there's really good chances that online they don't actually have stock either. They've just, their SEO was good, their positioning on Google was good, and you bought from them.
And they have
it arrives
time.
when it arrives.
That's
and
right.
They have time to
and
get
they
it.
have time to get the stock.
Correct.
You don't know that there's a lag time there. They tell you that you'll get it in 3 days or 2 days or whichever way you pay, whatever type of delivery fee you pay. And,
There we go.
If you're like me, you go, no, I want free delivery, so I don't care if it takes a week.
There we go. So do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it is critical that we have that kind of data.
If they
even
are
you're
going
small.
to compete again with
But they have
the
to.
online retailer.
But they have to compete.
Well,
It's
they
coming.
do.
So that was what I was bringing up now, watching how Upwise works and the kind of data and articles. Maybe as retailers, they'll be reading this kind of content. They go, you know what? We're not going to be around unless we embark on something like this, or we start thinking a little bit more about critical mass. I used to work in the food industry as a student, and we did a simple trick on the bottles of fruit juice and milk. We just made a line at the bottom. So anytime whoever's making the fruit juice or the milkshake or whatever it was, when it gets to that line, they would just come to me and say, hey, Brett, I'm on the last bottle of milk. So I know I've got enough if another order walks in, and I'll walk across the shop and buy another bottle of milk. It's just, that was manual, but it works. It's a system. So that's what this is. Anyway, it's scary. I didn't think the number would be as high as 70%.
It is scary. Again, I'm only questioning the survey itself.
Yeah, they won't tell us who it is, obviously.
Correct.
So we'll never know.
Yeah,
we'll
did
never know.
Did they target specific types of retailers who they knew already, predetermined outcomes, so they knew already they probably don't use any software and therefore they would be saying no anyway?
True.
That's my only, not that we don't need it, we need it, but there's a big but there.
But a big but.
A big but for that thing.
And then I'm going to have some sad news. I definitely did this as a Things with a Z review once upon a time. The company that makes Cosmo, there was a little robot that I brought in. Do you remember? It looked like
what happened?
Wally. They've gone. Enki, gone. $200 million in funding they got, and they're about to, in fact, I think it's today, yesterday, end of April. So the show's being recorded on the 1st of May. It doesn't mean you'll hear it on the 1st of May. 200 people put out of work, and it was just such a brilliant little company and system. Apparently people weren't buying the hardware and weren't developing on the software platform, because that's what it's all about. You got to build the ecosystem. But they had the little robot Cosmo, and then they had this racing car game. Yeah. And these cars were amazing. The data that came off the cars was incredible. So if you're going to buy a Cosmo, now's the time to buy it. It's going to be collectors. So it doesn't matter
even if you have an incredible or an awesome or an interesting or a cool.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Other things matter.
Yep.
In this instance,
Apparently.
Something else.
Look, it was a pricey little toy. I think it was upwards of $200, and it's fun. And the cat enjoyed playing with it, but it's still $200, right?
Still, it's 200 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I know.
I hope they pointed some of those funding in cool ways.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they did. The owners,
did the co-founders drive a Lamborghini?
Well,
was that on their top things to buy with their startup funds?
Staying with cars, Uber. So everyone says like Uber doesn't own anything.
Hola. New competitor on the market.
Oh, they've been around for a while.
Hola. Yeah, but in Australia, they only just started advertising.
Yeah, well, they've now finally got some money. I actually use Ola more than Uber. I'll tell you why. It's the same drivers, 9 times out of 10, and Ola pays their drivers more than Uber does.
And now you sound like the commercial, because that's exactly what the Ola commercial
says.
But
I know that, though.
But that's what they say in the commercial.
But good for them. It's good. Give them the money. It's the same guys. So Uber does now finally own something. They've taken a $1 billion with a B for Brett dollar investment from people like, well, not like Toyota.
Yeah.
And Denso and SoftBank. SoftBank is the Vision Fund.
Driverless cars.
But now how clever. So Toyota was the one I think that ponied up most of it. No, in fact, it's a three-way split. Toyota and Denso put up 667 million. This is US. And then the SoftBank Vision Fund put up the other 333. So they got $1 billion. Now what this does is this now values this Uber ATG, as they call it, the autonomous Toyota group or whatever, at $7.25 billion post money.
Before they've even done anything.
Yep. Okay, so here's a little company that makes cool little robots, gets 200 million and goes out of business, makes something, goes into shops all over the world.
Yep.
Here's a company that hasn't done anything, has hemorrhaged cash since day one, and they just got another $1 billion. Where's this fair? Like, what are we doing wrong?
Where is the tech karma here?
I don't know. We have to pray to the tech karma gods.
We should sacrifice something to
Maybe
the tech karma god.
Maybe we can get Elon Musk and Zuckerberg inside one of them together and see what happens. So, yeah, they've raised $1 billion for... But hats off to Toyota. Toyota sat there and gone, look what happened to the camera industry. The camera industry became irrelevant because phones. Yeah. So they're going, well, people aren't going to drive cars anymore. We might as well make sure we're the car that they choose.
Film may have started to become irrelevant, but cameras are still very much. I mean, if you are
correct, if you're a professional photographer,
or if you appreciate,
they lost the entire consumer market.
Yes,
is
they
what
did.
I'm saying.
They did, because we weren't all getting a little camera for Christmas. We're all now getting.
Do you remember
changing
that?
our phones. Yeah.
What do you want for Christmas? I want the new Sony Xperia, whatever it was.
Yeah, I
Remember?
want the camera.
Minolta.
Minolta, yeah.
I don't think they even exist anymore. They're
I
not in a
think-
professional. They were never professional. They were
no. Look,
consumer.
I mean, my big goal was to get a little camera that did video as well.
Yeah,
and
I
had
remember
and
that.
had the social media connection, so I could upload things
I've
immediately.
actually got one floating around. The Samsung
we've still
Galaxy
we've got
has
one
one
here
of
in the
those
office
as well.
somewhere.
It's so I say it was a brilliant move from Toyota,
Yep.
because if that is the way it's going, where we subscribe to cars, we're using carpools, and Uber's your partner and they're the biggest, then you've got the lion's share, right?
You already know how I feel about Uber.
I know.
I don't like the company and what it stands for. However, I did see a presentation sometime last year on their airplanes.
No.
Or they're
And
flying
not doing
Uber.
that as
They're
the
flying
heli,
Uber.
the heli, yeah.
Yeah, and
Uber
I saw
Aircab.
that presentation, and I did find it fascinating. I do question whether how soon I question their timeline of expected arrival in Australia to the timeline that the Australian bureaucracy will follow.
Well, look at the drones. Heads off to the boys down and girls down in Canberra, with
Well-
Wing being allowed coffee delivery, donut delivery, and I think light medication delivery as well.
Yeah.
That's a big move, though.
Until they get the wrong medication delivered to the wrong person, and it becomes more and more obvious that
Or you
that
get
ain't going to
decaf
go.
instead of
That ain't going to
caffeinated.
end well.
Yeah.
You know. So,
But it's
I
still
mean, it
good
was
that they actually allowed it.
it was cool. Yes. However, we are still human beings. People will still take advantage and rort the system in those ways, which could end up being very dangerous. And, you know, I hate the sound of the drone.
Yeah,
They've
they are
really got to
noisy.
fix that.
I think they will. But what you're actually hearing is more the wind. That's what they've got to get that tech. You know, like how
Well,
Dyson makes that fan
Yeah.
that doesn't have blades? That's going to be the next stage.
Well, the tech is there.
Correct. Well, Dyson might start making it
Yes,
then,
but
right?
they need to. We need to understand too that tech needs to be solving problems before they happen as well for a consumer market where they might meet impediments and walls to that particular tech going to that next level. So if
Yeah.
they build it properly to start with and stop having the beta phase, right, and think ahead.
Alpha first and then beta.
Well, you know, you have to realize early on that noise is going to be a problem, and it's
Yeah.
going to be a very easy weak link point for the rest of us to bring up and say, oh, I don't want that noise pollution along with everything else, because amenity for all of those who aren't going to be drone users needs to be important as well.
It's a valid point.
Instead of just the billions of dollars that
But
they're
you see,
all
this is the
bloody
thing with
making.
technology. Unfortunately, it's the decision makers and the makers that actually influence how it works. No one actually speaks to the consumers. We then just accept or ingest what we get. So you get a drone with noise. Sorry, they can change it.
They
but
should
don't
be
have
saying
to.
that they should be.
But they don't listen to us. This
They
is the
should be
problem.
saying no. The bureaucracy in the government,
Well,
who
the
is
bureaucracy
supposed
in
to
the
be
government
there.
gets given lots of little envelopes to make things like that happen. Don't
No
they?
one does deals in envelopes anymore,
No,
Brett. It's an online
just a
transaction. Come on,
PayPal
it's a
account.
transfer.
It's a Bitcoin.
It's a transfer.
Actually, no, we don't take Bitcoin. It's not worth
Can't
anything.
process that, no.
I've actually got more sad news than good news. Is Samsung?
Oh my God.
No, it's
What?
they're-
Why is it sad there?
Well, I've called my segment Samsung Unfolded. They've canned their fold for now. It's apparently still coming. Now, this was the phone that one of the phones of the show at Mobile World Congress, the folding Samsung Fold. It was supposed to launch a week ago, but all the journos and techie guys have been playing with it.
Trashed
The screens have been breaking.
Yeah, they
into the
trashed it.
fold.
Yeah.
So they're not releasing the phone. They say it will still come in May. I'm saying it may
Of
still
this
come
year?
in May. Well, they just said May.
On the upside for them, they are, going pretty hard on the fact that if you've got two Samsung people with two Samsung
Oh, that's
phones,
the S10.
they can meet each other.
Yeah, they can, mate. First of all, you know what? I like you, but my battery life is precious. I'm sure as hell not sharing it with anyone.
Mate, I'm not sharing anything with that protection.
I mean, that...
So what are they going to
I
do
think
about
you
that?
can do it through the cover.
They
but,
look so casual with it. Go, sure, I'll let my phone jump yours.
Yeah, no. Cam, would you, if you were down to like 30% battery life, would you give it to a mate? No, of course
Can
not.
you
No
determine
one
how
would.
much you give to your mate?
No, well,
You just stick it on and then you just wait?
Well, I
you
assume
go, that's
that
enough?
for every percent they get, you lose. You probably lose more because
You
it
would-
takes work
yeah.
to do it, right? So if you've got 30%
All
and you
those
give away
people-
10, you're going to lose your phone.
But all those people in those TV commercials look so happy.
Well, they actors and actresses, so
They're getting paid
correct,
to share.
correct.
Yeah.
So not for me, but you know what? That was about innovation, though, that you could do it. Talking about phones and charging, we did mention this on the show as well. Energizer came up with an 18,000 milliamp backed phone. The battery so it could like stay online for 3 days and charge and blah blah blah. Anyway, they got 2%, I think, of their crowdfunding. The phone's not going to make it to the light of day. It's just, well, they said if you wanted to carry around something that you could assault someone with, you carry a brick. It's free.
It's
not
that
$600.
big?
Yeah, it's like 0.8 inches.
Yeah, so we care about weight.
Yeah, it's this big.
We
it's
care
like carrying
about
a battery
size.
pack. I'd rather carry a battery pack and my phone.
Which is
if
a
I don't
lot
need
lighter.
the battery pack,
That's right.
there we go.
Which is a lot lighter.
So yeah. Anyway, it's not negative news, but I'm just looking. It's like maybe it's Mayday Day for me. But Netflix has just put out a second $2 billion debt funding announcement. Now this is actually a positive thing.
They're not making money.
Well, they took $2 billion in October last year.
Yeah.
So it's October, November, December,
when you say
January,
took,
March.
they raised.
Yeah, they did the raise last
Right.
year, but
That's gone.
well, I'll tell you why. So the article goes that they need to keep making content because they need to compete with the Disneys and the Warners and that.
Yeah.
And they are. Let's be honest. Netflix is producing some really good stuff. The original content, I think, is great. But they reckon they're going to... So what they're doing is they're forward planning. In order to keep that level that we're seeing
They've
at the
budgeted.
moment,
Yep.
they need 3.6. And they still obviously have operational costs as well.
Yeah.
So they took 2.
Yeah.
Now they're going into a
You
second
do realise
round
my
of 2.
heart's not bleeding for them.
It's not bleeding for them, but I'd
Otherwise,
hate to
they're
see
going to have
Netflix...
to raise prices.
Yeah, well, they have raised prices. They've gone up. It has gone up. It's gone up to $16 now, I think, a month.
See, because they were laughing about, why would you have Foxtel and pitching themselves as being that cheap end, and everyone's going, just get it on Netflix.
Look,
and now we end up having to have 5 different subscriptions.
I'm still waiting for Apple TV because I really do believe that Apple TV will be the one to command them all.
The reason I have an issue with your authenticity and your genuineness here is your brainwashing of anything that has to do with Apple.
No.
It's going to get to the point where crappy things are going to have Apple on it, and you're going to go,
I told
that's
you,
really
Apple's pants got taken down last week, and I said last week's show, Apple was caught with their pants down, and I mean prices down. Remember I had that Freudian slip in China?
Yeah.
No, I am a fanboy, I admit that, but listen to what I'm saying. If you watch the keynote on what they're trying to do, the Apple TV, which started off just as a project, has become a really big part of the ecosystem. Now, if you go into Apple TV moment...
Are they making content?
Sure.
I didn't realize they were making...
They're not.
No, I didn't...
But all these guys that are all trying to compete against each other. And Apple's going to turn around and say, why? Just put your app on our platform, put all your content on our platform. You can still sell just Disney or just Fox or just Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is. But it's all controlled through one place, which makes it so easy. And I'll tell you why I say that. This is why my prediction.
They save money.
No, it's not even about saving the money. If you want... We're talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot watch Game of Thrones in Australia unless you get it from Fox.
Yep.
And you can, I think, watch it live, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Stream same time as the US.
Right, which means you have to get up at Sparrow's
No, it's 11 a.m. on Mondays is the same time as US.
So I guess I don't phone Angela on 11 o'clock on
Unfortunately,
Mondays.
I work, but I know that if I'll get home in time because it's replayed like 25 times.
Okay. Now, I don't have Fox. But I could go into Apple TV and I could say, search, hey Siri, because it's voice activated, Game of Thrones. My phone's just turned on. See how good that is. I could say, Game of Thrones, what is it? Season 8, episode 3.
Correct.
Okay. It will then say, this is available, because of your geolocation, this is available on Fox. Would you like to subscribe? Or even better, would you like to buy a one-day pass? So I don't have Fox. I have no desire to have Fox.
Yep.
I'm not bashing Fox. I just don't need it.
Can you get a one-day pass?
You can't, but Apple would be able to do that because it's one platform that's holding all the different apps.
If they had the license. You
But
just
they'd be able
just
to.
made something up then.
I am making it, but I'm saying this is what I would predict. I said this is my prediction of where it would go, because now not only could you or get a 30-day pass or a 7-day pass or free trial. What's going to happen is you're going to sign up for it, and you go, you know what? This is actually pretty damn cool.
Well,
I'll
I don't
keep
know.
it.
I don't know how much time we have left.
No, not much. We're about to wrap, and I've only got one more thing anyway.
Because I do get Fox.
Okay.
And I that's all I have. And for so long, Fox I could not upgrade my Foxtel because it needed direct internet access.
Thank you, NBN.
Not Wi-Fi.
Yeah, thank you, NBN.
Yeah. And suddenly now they've changed their parameters.
Now you can use Wi-Fi.
Now you can use Wi-Fi, and that's how they start off all their commercials. Now Wi-Fi enabled.
Oh.
Now Wi-Fi enabled. Now
Okay.
Wi-Fi enabled. I haven't had the experience yet, though, to know whether that is a
Look,
good experience.
I recommend though staying on cable anyway.
Yeah.
Because cable's dedicated. So especially if you're watching a like something like Game of
Can
Thrones.
you imagine the buffering? If
Correct.
something happened in the buffering in the
and
gory
you're in the middle of a
scene,
scene, correct? You don't
and
want to.
you know anyone that's just watched season 8, episode 3, and
Don't
seen
spoil.
the massacre,
Don't
you don't
spoil.
want that holding in the buffering.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
no.
So
That's my problem. Why I can't
That's why I
go
use a
that
fixed
next.
yeah, no, I don't have for my Apple TV and my Mac Mini.
Yeah.
those are hardlined,
They are.
and then I get a dedicated terrible NBN feed, but
Yeah,
at least it's
because,
dedicated terribly.
You know, imagine in the love scene where something
Don't
cool.
worry about the love scene.
No, something sweet is about to happen, or the
But
mystery
the amount
solved.
of incest that goes on in that show,
Well,
I'm not too excited about
it's
what
similar
might
to
happen.
Tasmania. There ain't nothing new there.
Is that where it was filmed?
Probably based on that lineology. Okay,
Right. I have one last thing, which is a nice,
Quick,
fun,
because
brilliant
TikTok.
example. No, it's not about TikTok, but
Oh.
yes.
brilliant example.
If I
If
would,
you
what can you buy for 1 cent?
in Australia,
Anyway.
it's not an official denomination.
Okay, in America, what can you buy for a penny? 1 cent.
I don't know. I don't even know if you can buy a lolly.
Would you buy a hamburger for 1 cent?
I would not,
Why not?
because
you
I don't
eat
believe.
hamburgers.
No, because I don't believe there is a hamburger for 1 cent.
Okay, so what if I told you that Burger King, so what
Yeah.
do we call it here? Hungry Jacks?
Yep.
Have sold 150,000 hamburgers for 1 cent over the last 48 hours.
Then I would say to you that there are many franchise owners who are bleeding.
No. So here's the deal. And this actually could have been an app of the week, but it only works in America. So they've set up, I'm smiling reading it because I watched the video on it. If you are within 600 feet, so what's that, 200 meters, roughly.
I'll go with your
I
measurement.
think
Yep.
it's 200 meters. I think it's by 3. If you're within 600 feet of a McDonald's, okay, and you download the Burger King app or you have it, they will offer you a burger for 1 cent.
If you make that
a
decision,
Whopper burger, a big burger.
yeah, to not go to McDonald's.
You have to order it there and then and go and get it. And they got 2 million downloads on the app because also with proximity,
Yep.
they could deliver ads because
Yep.
most people are looking on their
Yeah,
phones,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
Up pops the ad, get a Whopper for 1 cent.
Yep.
Now.
Make a conscious decision to not go to
And
McDonald's.
they pulled
that's-
150,000.
But that's assuming you were going to go to McDonald's.
100%. But they took 150,000 sales away from McDonald's. So go back to full price.
Well, I don't agree. I don't agree that they took those sales out. Someone just went, this ad's popped up. Yeah, okay, you
It
know
only
what? For a
pops up
cent.
when you're there. It
in
doesn't
that
pop up.
proximity, but
Yeah.
not that you're at McDonald's.
You're 200 meters away.
Who said you're going there? I walk past McDonald's all the time and I don't walk in.
Okay, but 150,000 people did. And even if they weren't, they
You're going to say
converted-
50%.
They converted 150,000 people
They're betting that their burger and their tagline, I don't know if they've got the same tagline in America that they have here. Here it's the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what they're...
Which is in direct reference to saying our burgers are better than
yeah.
McDonald's.
They're allowed comparative advertising. I mean, they actually have often the king dressed up hitting and the
Good on them for that.
Hamburglar or
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't sit
But,
one way or the other there.
But I think it's brilliant. And also, it goes back to what I was saying with when you don't shop here and you shop there, you don't just go in and get your 1 cent burger, right?
No,
you
you'll get it.
fries and
Yeah,
a
well, you
Coke,
will at that point, yeah,
And
because
at
no
that-
one's going to have a burger on
and then
its
they
own.
sell.
Well, some will, but yeah.
Yeah,
And
some will.
And they're banking. They're banking.
And they
Burger
bank.
King is banking on the fact that their burgers are better, and they will be, or that
I
that
think
cost,
that they are,
or
personally.
that
I've
cost
eaten
will be
both.
negated because people will buy something else, and therefore
Correct.
it offsets the loss.
Even if they don't,
Yep.
I still think that it's really good.
Okay.
I mean, it's a brilliant campaign. So I don't know did you see the campaign before?
No.
You could use augmented reality and blow up a McDonald's billboard. So if you saw it, you held up your app and you could set it on fire. And then encourage people to set on fire and film it and share it on Instagram.
That's
so it's been a
encouraging
full-out
violence.
war. No, they flame
There's a
grill
war.
their
There's a-
they
yeah,
flame
yeah.
grill their
Okay.
burgers. So it's better when it's flame grilled. I know it's good marketing.
Whatever.
It's viral. It's
Okay.
guerrilla. Well, I'm finishing off my things with a Z.
Well, that's your thing.
Well, actually,
done,
that actually
That's it. We're
finishes
done.
our show. So until next time, keep
Keep
your
your-
screens clean.
And your knob's shiny.
There we go.
Thanks for listening to our latest episode of The Technology Show. Remember, for more episodes, hop onto eaglewavesradio.com.au, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Catch you next time.